Hello, welcome to the stream. David Snowpack here from Snowpack Games. I see we've got Fallen Ursus, Cześć. I know that Fallen Ursus is Polish, so we're going to be speaking in English in this stream. Don't worry. How's everybody doing? You have a little bit different perspective of me today than usual. Because I'm rocking my new PC, which I can also see because I'm closer to the screen. The green is like casting on my face, which is a little weird. I might have to come up with a solution for that. Maybe if I move this screen a little further away. Oh, actually, I can put it. I look less green. That's good. That's all right. I see I have a pretty cool character I'm rocking today, too. I got the jester hat with an orc and a braid and looks like a little axe or something. Anyway, how are you guys doing? How are your projects going? Any cool game dev news to report? Hey, Smaloki. I almost called you Samoloki for some reason. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Yeah, as I was saying, I got my new PC on Tuesday. It has actually been really exhausting getting it set up, getting everything transferred and configured and installed. I spent like the first day on Tuesday. Am I clipping? Well, okay, anyway, I'll listen to the audio later. Let me know if the audio is weird today, because again, everything's set up new, so like I probably screwed something up, but I thought I heard my voice clipping. But yeah, on Tuesday I got it. I spent most of Tuesday just taking it apart and putting it back together again. Yeah, finally got things more or less working. Hopefully nothing will go wrong during the stream despite all of the newness. I totally sound like I'm clipping. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Test 1 2 1 2. Hey Logan, welcome to the stream. Yeah, guys, let me know if there's anything weird with my audio. First, it sounded like I was clipping for a little bit, and I turned down my mic, and I don't know if that helped. You guys can actually see my audio rack now, because I rearranged things in my office, and it's off the ground. It's up here. You can see the vacuum tubes that are involved in this stream. I don't know how many streams have vacuum tubes in them. So yeah, how are you guys doing? How are your projects going? Anything exciting? Most exciting thing on my end, again, is the new PC I'm rocking. I got my 4070 Ti, which I haven't really had a chance to put through its paces. I played Half-Life Alyx for like 20 minutes, and it looks beautiful. It's the best I'd ever seen Half-Life Alyx looking. But yeah, I still need to get in there and try Cyberpunk 2077 in VR and a modded out Skyrim. I don't know, I couldn't remember the name Skyrim for 2 seconds, but yeah, Logan, I haven't had a chance to watch your latest tutorial, although I'm excited to because it involves multiplayer. Ooh, some art. You're doing some art? Yeah. So there's the Global Game Jam next weekend. Logan and I are both going to be participating at the same in-person site in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I'm super excited for that. It has been so long since I've game jammed. When did we do the first-person shoveler? That has to be coming on like, I don't know, a year ago, hasn't it? I don't know. It's been a long time. Yeah, it'd be really cool to do some 3D game jam action, given that 3D is always a little trickier to pull off at a game jam. Everything just takes more time. Yeah, May or April. So I mean, it was close to a year. What else? Oh, like I've been also super busy this week with some last minute Godot 4 stuff. Last week I was saying that I was like done with everything I personally needed to do for Godot 4, but it turned out there were some extra things. Fixing world scale and WebXR that Malcolm Nixon found some issues, which was great. He has this really cool demo. It's like this Alice in Wonderland maze thing where your character is shrinking and growing. And yeah, it pushes the world scale feature in Godot, and it turns out I had the calculations for that all wrong in WebXR, but it's fixed now. And yeah, getting the WebXR tutorial updated for Godot 4. I wanted to have that in the docs. There's kind of like a soft cutoff on non-critical bug fixes for Godot 4, which is today is the cutoff. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure that everything that I could get in there is in there. Probably like the only things that are going to be getting merged after this point is like there's a whole bunch of GDScript bugs that still need to be fixed, a whole bunch of physics bugs that needs to still be fixed, and like anything that's causing major problems. Godot 4 is imminent. It's coming. World scale. Yeah, so in the XR server, let's get a... Do I have a Godot 4 installed on this machine? I might actually not. Yeah, I'm going to assume that I don't. Because I mean, I have the source code for Godot 4. We're not going to compile it right now. Oh, or maybe we could. We can see how fast the 16 cores on the new machine make a Godot build. That would be pretty interesting. But yeah, let's grab the... There was a new beta today. Did the beta come out yet? There's supposed to be a new beta today. Oh, I guess the beta hasn't landed yet, but I think there's supposed to be a beta 16 today. We can try beta 15. Anyway, there's this feature in the XR server that lets you change how much each unit in 3D space relates to each unit of real-world space. The default is that 1 unit in 3D equals 1 meter in real-world space, but you can change that. And playing with scale is really fun in VR. There's some really cool VR games that play with scale. What's the one where you're like a fisherman toy or something? I can't remember the name of it, but it's really cool because it feels crazy. Like even in the Walkabout mini golf that we were playing a couple of weeks ago, Logan, when you come out of it and you see the whole course down like it's a train set or a dollhouse kind of size, like that's really interesting in VR. But yeah, in this Alice in Wonderland thing, you're going through this maze and you have to shrink down to get through one part, and you have to grow real big to get to another part. And it's a cool demo. I quite like it. And let's launch this. Let's launch this guy here. Yeah, I have no projects. This is possibly the first time I've launched Godot 4 on this new machine. I need a project. Give me a project. Let's import PRJ games. We'll start doing some real things in a second. See my... Telling me I've got my 4070 Ti going. All right. On the XR server, you can change the world scale. What does the description say? We'll get... Allows you to adjust the scale to your game's units. Most AR/VR platforms assume a scale of 1 game world unit equals 1 real world meter. Anyway, yeah, let's get down to it. So last week, we were working on porting SG Physics 2D, which is my deterministic 2D physics engine, from Godot 3 to Godot 4. And it is changing from being a Godot module to being a GDExtension, which has been super interesting, figuring out, you know, what are the differences in GDExtension versus working in the engine itself. And actually, like, I feel like we've encountered more differences between module versus GDExtension than we have encountered differences between Godot 3 and Godot 4. But there has been some of that. I have not worked on it at all since the last stream. Like I said, I've been super busy just getting my new PC going and Godot 4 stuff. So we're basically picking up exactly where we left off. We're kind of in the phase where we are trying to compile it. It started out by just copy pasting the Godot 3 code. And we're trying to compile it and just modifying it until it compiles. Then once it compiles, we'll test it, see that it's working. And then the real fun starts, because at that point we're going to start modifying the engine to be more Godot 4-ish. So one of the long-standing things that has bothered me about SG Physics 2D is that we have to have this special vector type, but it's a reference. It's not a primitive, like, variant value. It's a reference, which makes just life complicated. You can't say this vector equals this vector, because now you've grabbed a reference to it and you change the one and it changes the other, and you totally don't expect that to happen. But we had to, because the vector 2 type in Godot 3 is floating point, and our deterministic physics engine is based on fixed point math. But in Godot 4, we have this vector 2i primitive type, which stores integers instead of floating point values, which we can use to be our fixed point vector. But we're going to have to restructure like everything to make this work. It was kind of nice having our SG vector, fixed vector 2 class, because then we can pack it full of methods for doing vectory stuff. But if we're going to be using this primitive type, we won't be able to put any methods on it. We're going to have like this will have to become like a singleton. SG fixed vector 2, or not watcher. This one will have to become like a singleton with static methods, or not static methods because it's singleton, but you know what I mean, methods that we can call taking each of the vectors that we're operating on as arguments, and that's going to have to change like so much stuff. Also, the way that the physics nodes work in Godot 4 is different, like their external API, and so we'll want to modify our versions of those physics nodes to match the Godot 4 versions. For example, we have a kinematic body 2D node from SG Physics 2D. We're going to want that to become an SG character body 2D. We're going to want all of the different methods and properties on it to match the Godot 4 version, with the idea that we want it to be easy and comfortable to switch from normal Godot 4 physics to the SG Physics 2D objects. Hey Ricardo, welcome to the stream! I bet you are a very busy man these days with the Godot 4 release coming up, doing mad physics stuff. I wish you the best of luck, my friend. You've got some important work going on. Yeah, so I did, right before the stream, do a quick build, and hopefully to fix the autocomplete and squiggles, all of our squiggles in the code. I moved the Godot 3 code like just out of the directory, so hopefully that'll be better. And guys, once again, like, let me know if the audio is weird. It still kind of sounds to me like it's clipping, but I'm not sure. I will be listening to this afterwards and doing my own scrutiny. But if it's clipping, let me know, and I'll move some knobs. I'm in the wrong directory. Let's just do a quick scons build here. And the first error we are hitting is we are calling .instance, when in Godot 4 it is now called instantiate, is what that method is called. Let's see if we can jump straight in here, change these guys really quick. Instantiate, or instantiate? I'm not quite sure what is the right pronunciation of that, but instantiate. We'll get used to saying it once we're all living a Godot 4 reality. Where does that get us? All right, some includes. A lot of these changes are related to includes. That's more of the GDExtension stuff. I usually say shiate myself. Instantiate. I'll roll with the Logan pronunciation, which is what that will be officially called from now on. Instantiate. I'll roll with that for a little while, see how it feels on the old mouth mechanics. Yeah, a lot of these differences between a module and GDExtension are in the includes, which is kind of annoying. Just dumb changes that we have to keep making. This, I believe, is include Godot CPP classes resource. Yes, resource HPP. I like to kind of put a space between what are things external to a project and things internal to our project. Although arguably the Godot CPP is internal because we're bringing it in with a Git submodule, but it is external in my mind, in my brain. Something I've been working on a lot lately as I've been transferring computers, and I was wondering if you guys do anything interesting for this, but managing all of my dot files, like all of my personal config files in my home directory. I started looking at this cool tool called Chez Moi, which I believe is like my house in French, I'm not entirely sure, to manage my dot files. Do you guys have a solution for that? For like keeping your dot files somewhere, so when you get a new computer, you can bring them over, or when you have two computers, keeping the configuration in sync? I really need to figure something out for that now that I'm I'm doing this. I don't ever want to have to go through this trouble again. What I've done in the past actually was just completely copy my home directory from the old machine to the new machine. But I'm like, no, I'm not doing that this time. I'm going to get for real organized. I'm going to have a strategy for my dot files. I'm going to have a strategy for my project files. And my strategy for my project files, I set up this sync thing, which is kind of like a open source self-hosted Dropbox, which is keeping my projects synchronized between all of the machines I use. Anyway. Sorry for that tangent. Core engine, we probably can just remove. We'll see. Or maybe we need something from it. We need some things. So we need... Or do I even want to bother with this SG path right now? There are some classes in SG Physics 2D and some features that I did not write that were written largely by a contributor named Bimdav. And I, tested them once and said, cool, it looks awesome, and put them in there. But I don't have a ton of familiarity with them. I'm thinking what I'm going to do with those is leave them out for now and then come back later and do the port. Because I'm just not mentally prepared to take on the extra thinking that's going to be necessary to port them, and it's not like I can't do it at any time. So I'm just gonna remove these for now, and I will come back to them later. I'll put a note in my I hit delete and it didn't happen. Why is it? Oh, weird. It opened the dialog in a different monitor. I think I know why it did that, but yeah. Do not ask me again. You can move things straight to the trash. That's cool. Hey, The Clean! Welcome to the stream! Oh, I haven't been looking at what characters people can getting. The Clean's got a long-haired orc with some overalls. Ricardo, who's rocking a shirtless guy with some shoulder pads and a Hulk Hogan kind of goatee going. My dot file strategy is copying the files and praying that everything works. That has been my strategy up until now. But I want to get something for real going. Logan, where are you? I saw you comment. Get your guy on there. Oh, we're a lot of orcs today. With a orc with a braid and a belt. Yeah. We got a little orc clan except for Ricardo, although he seems like a kind of muscular, burly looking dude. He can be an honorary member of our orc clan, I think. Yeah, I need to add a button that just lets me bring back the characters when I feel like looking at them, commenting on them. Alright, so... did I delete the right thing? I seem to be looking at the same file I was looking at before. Oh, SG curve and then SG path. Yeah, I'm going to just get rid of these for now to deal with later. And of course, this dialog's still opened. Deleting files, yes, move to trash, do it. Yeah, I think they're appearing in that other screen because I have i3, my window manager, configured to always open VS Code on a particular screen in a particular desktop, which in the past has been the same one that I use for streaming. But now that I've got this whole new arrangement, I've also put my coding on the big screen in front of me. And now it's also a little weird, like my screens aren't all the same size anymore. I had 3 screens, I still have 3 screens, but now the middle one's huge. Smeloki, oh, the character's faded away. Is that new? Hey, you got a crown and some long gray hair. You are like the old wizened king, Smeloki. Yes, it is relatively new. We did it on a stream. We implemented that on a stream a couple months ago. It was one of the streams where there were just like 15 characters going crazy everywhere, and people were annoyed. They're like, can't see your code or can't see the Godot editor or whatever. So we added it in, and I think it is good. I think that they should fade away after a longer timeout. I don't remember what I have it set to, but it should be longer. I want it to, when people come to the stream midway, I want to be like, oh, there's some people here. I can see them on the thing going around. And also, I should have a button to bring you guys back. Those are some changes we'll make at some point. All right. So we have made our job easier by deleting some code. Always the quickest way to port code is to just not have it. All right, let's run scans here. Another core engine. That is an SG raycast. We are going to, in fact, port SG raycast to D. That's the Godot 4 version. And it is saying this over in the CPP file. Okay, so I don't know why I included engine in so many places. I could certainly have included a much more targeted file. I think what we need here is probably the class DB to do all the like method binding, which I think is in core class DB HPP. There we go. Let's give that a shot. What is this? What's going on here? What's happening? So raycast 2D, engine has not been declared. Oh, we may in fact have needed actual engines. So that would be classes engine HPP, I think. Yes. I vaguely remember doing this already. Did we do this already? I thought we did. Because I remember dealing with the color issue with there's a method on the engine singleton to say should I draw or not draw the debug collision shapes, and then also a method to get the collision shape color, which isn't accessible to GDExtension for some reason, probably an omission. We could make a PR to Godot and I'm sure get it added. But I thought that we went through and did all of those, this one included, so it's kind of weird. All right, it looks like we also need scene tree. And I'm going to order these. Sort. Ooh. So the VS Code setting synchronization feature is pretty cool. I was able to just install VS Code, log into my GitHub, and it transferred all my settings, including all my extensions and stuff. So that's awesome. Highly recommend. Okay, so we've got Transform 2D has no member named Translate. Did you mean translated? Oh, that's interesting. So this is another module versus GDExtension difference. So in a module, we get access to all of these methods on Transform 2D and Vector and Transform 3D and all this stuff that change the objects in place. Whereas from GDScript, you only get these like, so we have translate versus translated. Translated creates a new object with the translated position and then returns it. From a module, you get these ones that write in place, which you can use for efficiency. You don't have to allocate any more memory. But since we're using GDExtension, which works through the bindings, and only the translated like copy methods are bound, so we're gonna have to convert all of these situations where we use the modify in place ones with the ones that don't. So let's go deal with that. So what we need to do is say xf equals xf translated. What about the rotate though? Shouldn't that have the same problem? What? So we have rotate, and I would presume rotated, but we don't have translate, just translated? I'm going to say this is another omission. This is another thing we could probably get fixed. Let me open up my notes doc, and we can put this on a note. I think when we're done with this porting, we're going to have a big old PR we're going to make to Godot to make some changes to GDExtension. Let me find this Google Doc. GDExtension missing pieces. We'll send this over. Maybe we'll put it on this one. Okay. So this would be transform to D, translate, say we only have translated, yet there is both rotate and rotated. Yeah, I think the idea for GDExtension is that when Godot 4.0 comes out, GDExtension is going to still be just declared unstable. So like API breaking changes are probably going to continue to happen after Godot 4.0 stable comes out. And then at some point, like 4.1 or 4.2, it'll get declared stable and then breaking changes will stop happening. Because there is just a lot of random little weirdnesses and missing pieces in GDExtension still. Okay, so where were we? I'll put a little note here too, so I can come back here. Replace with dot translate if when it exists. Okay. What are these other ones? Vector was not declared in the scope. That should be easy to fix. Did we use it up here in the header? Or do we only use it in the? We only use it in the CPP. Okay, so we can come up here. Add the include for vector, which is in the templates folder. Come on, autocomplete me. Definitely moving that Godot 3 code out of this directory has helped considerably. Things are definitely working better than before with regard to autocomplete. Oh, it's hard to read. Where is the first error here? Oh, okay, so we have to go deal with this is debugging collisions hint. And that is not on tree, right? That's on the engine singleton, I think. No, where is that? Is debugging collisions hint. Am I looking at the right thing? I need to clear this. This is just too much. We'll do one of these. I always get confused. Am I looking at the current error messages or the old error messages? Okay, that was an old error message. Okay, so this is good. Cannot convert Godot vector2 to packed vector 2D array. You should be able to. That would be awesome. They're essentially the same thing, but let's just go packed vector2 array. Maybe we should make a note about that on our missing stuff doc as well. Conversion between vector2 and packed vector2 array. In C++, when you're making a module, these two things are essentially interchangeable. Vector2 and packed vector2 array, but in GDExtension it appears that they are not. They're treated as two separate things. There should probably be a constructor to do a slick conversion there. All right, what do we got? Oh, similar thing. Draw primitive points. All right, so we just need to convert this vector to here to a packed vector2 array, and that should just work. All right. Yeah, another thing that I've been looking at in this big PC conversion, I'm sorry to keep going on these tangents. If you guys want me to shut up about this stuff and just do Godot, like I can, but another thing that I've been thinking about is I keep all my notes in Google Docs, and I think I want to stop doing that. I think I want to switch to some system where I'm like keeping the files on my machine and using, I don't know, some tool to search them or link them together and just keep them like in Markdown or something on my machine. As time goes on, I'm becoming like more skeptical of the cloud. I mean, the cloud is great, but like, does Google need to have all my documents? Like, I can manage files. I don't need to use the cloud for this. I can maybe even make it better for me by using my own tools and doing my own customization. Something with calls as well. Oh, packed color array. All right. Where do we declare that one? Here it is. Packed color array. Do you guys have a particular tool that you use for like your personal knowledge base where you keep all your info? I'm like obsessed with notes and things. Like if I come up with like a command that I had to run that took me like more than, I don't know, 3 minutes to figure out what it is, it goes in a notes document so that I can just copy and paste it later. I copy and paste from myself so much. I know a lot of people copy and paste from Stack Overflow. I copy and paste from me. And Stack Overflow, but mostly me. All right, so pointer to incomplete. Oh, okay, this sounds like we just need to include the include with object. Run you again. We're getting down to this operator stuff. What's going on here? Ambiguous overload for operator equals. Operands are object ID and int. And I guess this is an int 64 is the problem? Hang on. We need to get to the definition of this structure, which is this guy, and collider, setting it to 0 and object ID. I'm real confused right now. Because this seems to have a direct pointer. And here, no. What? Okay, back to the start. So here we are. We are on Raycast 2D. Ah, okay, so we're copying from this structure, not to this structure, to Raycast 2D to this collider property, which is an object ID. And object ID is undefined. That's probably a problem. Where do you come from, object ID? Looks like classes object underscore ID. More include bangling here. All right. uint64t does not name a type. All right. I'm pretty sure there is a core maybe class for that, or include for that. Core defs maybe. Let's see what's in here. uint64t. Nope, it's not in here. Let's search for it. It's either a type def or a define, so we can search type def uint64t. But where do you come from, uint64t? You come from a part of the compiler. All right. Maybe we should just include this file though. Oh, that's weird. So this include doesn't have this type. That also sounds like it could perhaps be a bug, but we will work around it in our code by adding an include before this include that gets all the stuff we need. So this was in GDExtension interface, or what is the header, the standard header that defines that? std int. Let's include std int. It's .h. Is that a standard header, or is that like something weird? std int. std menu int. Interesting. So this is some POSIX thing. It's doing std int. I'm going to just say that stdint.h is probably a standard header. If not, we'll find out when we're compiling on Windows or something. This namespace Godot has no member list is baffling. Let's see if we actually get that from the compiler of just VS Code. Redefinition of object ID. Redefinition in object HPP. What if it's, okay, new plan. Instead of object ID, let's just include object. See what that does. Okay, we got past that first part. So ambiguous overload of equals. Operands are object ID and int, but collider. What is collider? We never answered this issue. Okay, so collider is object ID. So probably what we need to do here is just declare like a null object ID like this. Does that make sense? Let's go look at object ID. And okay, it has the equals 0 up here. I think that'll work. That seems good. That looks right to me. And does this come up in a couple other places? Whoop. The to bool is ambiguous. All right, so object ID needs to have some method to check if it's null or not. Not here though. I think that was in object HPP where we had the object ID that apparently we're using. And there's an isNull method. All right, so we're going to replace that straight up Boolean check with collider isNull. That'll do it. Anything else we can jump to here? I'm not sure. GCC doesn't have the best messages, error messages. Oh, here's another one where we're setting it to 0. We need to set it to object ID. Or actually, we probably don't need to do that at all. Let's do it anyway. That way I won't worry about it later that maybe we're not initializing it. Since I make that mistake so often in C++ is forgetting to initialize a member variable. Ooh, we're done with that file. We are now on to static body 2D. Okay. SGY sort. It's very short. So VS, I believe, in the engine is Visual Server. That's a quick way to get access to the Visual Server. So I think we just need to make this be slightly more verbose. Let's we'll say include Godot CPP classes Visual Server. Or no, it's not Visual Server anymore, is it? It's Display Server. There we go. That is a Godot 3 to Godot 4 difference. Display Server, get singleton, canvas. No. How do we set the Y sort in Godot 4? Let's open up the Godot 4 source code. Why is my there is a this one. That's what I was pressing. Pressing this. Still not doing it. Oh, you know what it's doing? It's opening a million windows over. Yep. Okay. It's opening up a million windows over on my other screen here, my other desktop. I gotta fix this. Okay. Let's go look in the Godot 4 source code at the Godot 4 YSort node. Huh. I wonder... There's still a YSort in Godot 4, right? Is there not? Has YSort gone away in Godot 4? Interesting. So if it went away, what are the most likely ways for it to go away? Perhaps canvas item can now make anything YSortable? Yes. The YSort node has apparently been replaced with the YSort enabled property. Cool. We can delete! We can port this code by deleting. I am all for it. Okay. YSort, be gone. Okay. Let's just let Git know about a couple of things here. We have deleted some stuff. Let's do git add source sgphysics2d. That should get all of our things staged. Let's take a little peek at what we've done so far. See if now's a good time to staged. See if now's a good time to do a quick commit as we get progressively closer. I think so. Let's commit. I like committing. Makes me feel like I'm getting things done. Let's say closer to compiling. I guess I know why I'm doing it here. I don't know why I don't just do, like, I could have written this code like collision point instantiate. Why didn't I write it like that? I mean, I'm going to leave it because we're going to be changing everything that has to do with vectors later anyway, and it's not worth fixing, but like, David from the past certainly chose a very verbose way to write all these lines of code. Past David always sabotaging me. I don't know. I don't know why I put up with that guy. Okay, let's compile. Oh, and this visual server thing that I was doing, why was I doing it here? Or no, this must be some other instance of visual server? Yeah, it totally is. Okay, so what are we doing with visual server here? So this is part of the debug shapes, I think. So this include would be include Godot CPP classes display server, and then we'll find visual server and change it to display server and hope this method still exists. It does not. And maybe I'm wrong about display server being the thing that replaced it, because there's also rendering server, but I thought that that was different. That was more low level. See what display server has. Does not seem to deal with canvas items at all. Maybe that's in rendering server? Yeah, okay, rendering server. Yeah, we had visual server in Godot 3, which has split into rendering server and display server. I think if the rendering server is the lower level one, in that it's the one that I've interacted with a whole bunch when I was working on getting VR working with OpenGL in Godot 4, which we did on stream quite a bit. But in this case, I guess this is kind of low level. We're directly messing with a canvas item, which would be a resource in that particular renderer, whether we're talking like rendering device renderer like Vulkan or DirectX, or compatibility renderer like OpenGL. So cool, cool. What is this message about? Matches the argument list. Interesting. Anyway, let's see what we're getting compile errors wise. Vector is not declared. Are we using any vectors in here? Looks like no. So we will add the include in the CPP file as opposed to the header file. Vector, I'm willing to bet a whole bunch of those are going to have to turn into packed vector2 arrays, though. Let's see what happens. Visual server, more instances of visual server. This is with rendering. Oops, rendering server. Rendering server. And yep, the same stuff with needing to switch from the vector types to the packed array types. This is an interesting way to learn things about Godot 4 that I didn't previously know, because I mean, there's so much going on in Godot 4 development, and even though I'm like subscribed to like the GitHub PRs and I skim them every day, there's just so much going on. It's really easy to miss different stuff, and this is a cool way to kind of get a tour of that. Cannot convert vector. Okay, where is this? Oh, another bit of very similar code. Packed color array. Packed vector2 array. Although, like, all of these changes is a little bit exhausting. I'm kind of hoping that we either like don't do Godot 5 for like 10 years, or that Godot 5 is a much smaller diff, a much smaller delta than this one was. Okay, so the SG tween. I'm sorry for all the yawning, guys. I just have not been getting too much sleep. I'm thinking for the SG tween, which is another thing that BIMDAV created originally, dropping this for now, and then coming back to it later on in the porting process. This code looks generic, though. We might be able to just keep this bit and drop the node. That'll also be a nice little placeholder reminding me that we have to come back and deal with this. What is trying to include SG tween? Oh, easing animations? There's like a cross include between the two of them? I don't feel like untangling that right now. Get out of here. Get out of here, easing equations. All right, so now we're looking at some editor plugins. That's going to be interesting from GDExtension. So, SG collision polygon 2D. We are extending the abstract polygon 2D editor, which is an internal editor thing, which we may not actually have access to from GDExtension. Let's find out. Do CPP, classes, abstract, no, poly, no, editor, anything? Editor. All right. Well, back to the Godot 4 source code. Let's see what's going on in Engine. We're going to look for abstract polygon 2D editor. We may have to punt on the editor plugins too for now. So it is bound, but what stuff gets put into Godot CPP. Because we need to be able to mess with editor classes, or we copy this whole code, this entire class, into our GD extension. That's also a possibility. Don't really want to do that right now, though. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to punt on the editor classes for now. We will definitely need this one back later so that you can edit, polygon shapes for SG Physics 2D. But yeah, let's go to the S construct, and we are going to just remove the editor classes from the build. Is this the right S construct? This seems like way too big. I didn't write all this code. I'm in the wrong thing. S construct. That was the right one. Oh, I'm in the wrong project. S construct. Here we go. This looks more familiar. Servers, animations, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, here we go. We will drop this. We'll comment them out for now. Man, it'd be so cool if we get this compiling today. Are we at linking? Are we linking? We are linking. And we're getting a lot of linking errors. All right, so in function, Godot, call, get argument, metadata, blah, 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 blah. Multiple definitions of SG collisionary 2D get collider. Multiple definitions. Is it possible that there's some old code hanging around that's messing with us? Hey, Sean. Welcome to the stream. No worries about only staying for a while. It is on the internet forever. Future alien races 1,000 years from now will be watching this stream, and I will probably still look like an idiot, but that's okay. Looking like an idiot on the internet forever is just part of life. So cannot find Godot CPP editor. Okay. So part of the problem is these duplicates, and part of the problem is that it's not finding the Godot CPP library. That could be because I'm doing this stuff with target editor, which maybe we need to not do. But let's try and deal with the first one first. I'm going to do -C to scans, which should delete stuff. I'm going to look around for any other .os files. There aren't any. Okay, let's try another rebuild. I'm doing J1 because we were going through his errors. I probably shouldn't have done J1. Probably should have done like J16. But this will finish soon enough, I think. Actually, you know what? I just want to see how fast it is. Let's clean again. And if we don't put a J argument, I think that defaults to number of threads -1. So it's going to do J31, I think. Oh, no, it doesn't do that for that. Godot does that, not when you're making a GD extension. Okay, so I'm just going to do J16. J16, we'll see what it does. That was quite fast. But we are still getting these duplicate. Okay, let's read these closer. Multiple definition of polygon set points. OS physics server first defined here. In function move. God, GCC, you are so annoying. Okay, multiple definitions of SG Physics server polygon set points. OS first defined here. Where, okay, I see the first defined here, but where's the duplicate? Server set points. First defined here. Ding dong? Someone is at the door. I'm not going over there. Not expecting any important packages. Multiple definitions of polygon set. I think I'm going to have to mute myself in a second. Do I have a button for that? Oh, no. Okay. Da 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 da. Yeah, I just don't get what this is. What this is saying exactly. So, in OS, first defined here. These seem like the same file. Geophysics, Godot server. Well, let's deal with the one error that I know how to solve, or at least have a clearer idea of how to solve it, which is this one, that it can't find the Godot CPP. So let's go into Godot CPP up here. Let's make sure this is built. We'll do scon's platform Linux target equals editor. J, we'll do 15. I may not have built this since I switched to this computer. It should not have had so much to build. Oops. This will be another test, though, of how quickly my new PC can crunch through it. My old laptop, which I have sitting here, you guys may never have seen it because I'm usually using it. Oh, let's pull it over. Is this big beast here? Has 4 cores, 8 threads, and 64 gigs of RAM. My new machine also has 64 gigs of RAM. But it's funny because the 64 gigs was the max for this machine, and I think like the new one can go up to like 256 or something insane. But I got this laptop in like 2017, I think. So it was about time to upgrade. But going from 4 cores, 8 threads to 16 cores, 32 threads, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see how much more efficient that makes me, especially with like how long these days Godot takes to compile. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not very long. Like, I'm sure compiling Unreal takes like hours, whereas before it took me, let's just say 15 minutes, 20 minutes or something to compile Godot from scratch. But now if I can have that down to just like a couple of minutes, how much more hacking am I going to get done? I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited though. All right, let's get out of here. Try compiling this guy again. Okay, so it does appear like we fixed the one error, but all of these errors are still here. Why? Why are these errors still here? Oh, I think I found it, guys. Look at this command line. No, that's not the same. I thought we were maybe listing the same object twice, which we still might be doing, but I just can't see if we are or not. Okay, so internal. Well, let's look for one of these ones that says we have multiple definition. Multiple definitions of SG get collider, blah, blah, blah. So SG Physics 2D server is one of the ones it's complaining about. Let's copy and paste this whole command. Go to a scratch pad. Just text. Text is fine. Give me a text file. And we're going to look for SG Physics, was it 2D server? which is in here twice. Okay. That is the problem. We are telling it to link the same objects 2 times. Why are we doing that? So this was in Godot for servers. We're doing sources plus. I wonder. I have like this explicit thing here. What if I, oh, here we go. Godot for servers, Godot for servers. That's what it was. My other thought was maybe that somewhere earlier in the code, we were like doing some recursive grab of everything, and then here we were doing this like explicit layout of everything. I bet that's going to totally be it though. Let's, it built! It built! Let's commit this. Commit what we got so far. And then let's test it. Let's see what happens. It compiled. Yay! All right. How are we going to test it? We are going to test it by grabbing the binary, which is called x11. We probably don't want it to be called x11. Where's compilation platform? Yeah, why is it called x11? That's really weird. Let's get rid of that. I don't want to call it x11. It's called Linux. Linux is what it is. And then down here, if in platform, we'll say equals Linux, target path equals Linux. Yeah, this sconstruct file I copy and pasted, I think from Fabio's WebRTC native GDExtension, and so it's got some weirdnesses in it. Actually, yeah, let me just make sure there's no more x11s. Okay, then let's run scons again and look in bin. We now have Linux. There we go. Okay. I do not recall, like off the top of my head, what boilerplate we need to activate a GDExtension. So let's figure that out. So we want, we have this empty project. I use it for testing lots of different things. It's not so empty anymore, but we will use it again anyway. Let's copy our built file, or actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at Fabio's WebRTC native. It was in here, wasn't it? WebRTC native. And I'm going to look at the release and see how he packaged. This is not the right release, I don't think. Here we go. This one includes the Godot 4 version, I think. And we're going to look at how he packaged it, and we're going to sort of package up our GDExtension in a similar way. Unzip. All right. So we're going to say WebRTC native GDExtension. And then go in there, and then unzip it. And so he's got like the name of it, lib, all the binary files, and then at the top of it, this .GDExtension, which I think is the resource that Godot actually looks for when deciding to load a GDExtension. So what I want is a VS Code in this project. Oh, come on. Okay, fine. We'll just do it in a terminal. We'll go to games Godot for empty. Let's get up at the top of the window. Let's make a directory for SG Physics 2D. Go in there. Let's make a directory for lib. Then we are going to copy our binary. How did Fabio name them? Was it just named Linux? That was PRJ games. No, DL WebRTC native WebRTC lib. Yeah. Okay. .linux .editor, because we are theoretically making an editor build, even though we removed all the editor code. Copy bin Linux. Oh, why is it named like just SO? We need, this name needs to have like a bunch of stuff packed on it. Okay, let's, yeah, why isn't all these things put on there? It should be .editor, .x86, 64, but all we have is libso. Okay, where's this used? CPP library. Oh, okay. This is the CPP library for. This is the library from Godot CPP. So what we actually need to do is change this target name. Where does that get set? Yeah, it should be more complicated than that. So in the same place where we do the CPP library, let's do target name equals, yeah, we'll build it up in the in like the same code paths as the CPP library. So let's go to where the CPP library is declared. So target library equals env target name, and then everywhere where we add something to CPP library, we're going to add it to our target name as well. So plus equals .osx target name plus equals .linux. I should just copy and paste those. There we go. Target name. Target name. Target name. Target name. Target name. And then down here, instead of taking that from env, we'll take it from here, target name. Okay, let's do that. Redo our scons here. What did I do wrong? Env target name. So why isn't it? Oh, because we did it too early. Let's bring this up here. And now run it. Hey, Sigma AX, welcome to the stream! Oh, you're not feeling good, dude? Well, I hope you feel better. So much sickness going around lately. My family is momentarily healthy. I hope that stays the case. All right, okay, so now the output binary has a nice name, but it should probably be .so. Why isn't it .so? Target name. See if target name gets modified anywhere. To add the .so. Or maybe it's not putting it on there because it's like full of dots already. Let's go look at Fabio's here and see. He's got SO on all of them. Okay, so we're going to have to also have like a target suffix. Which we're going to have to set. Let's put something here that we don't ever want it to be called, shared. And then we'll put in the individual platforms. So target suffix equals .dylib for OS X. Oops, suffix. Linux is .so. And Windows is .dll. Okay. Target name plus target suffix. Let's clear out the bin directory. And, ooh, I probably didn't mean to do that because we need to have the keep there. Let's bring that back and run the build. And let's look at what we got. Bin Linux. Hey, there we go. sgphysics2d.linux.editor.x8664.so. Okay. And actually, if we look at how Fabio did his, he didn't separate them into separate platform directories. So maybe we shouldn't either. That actually does seem nicer since it's all baked into the suffixes anyway. So target path. We won't mess with target path anymore. Let's do it like this. Again, I will remove the bin Linux, and then we'll rerun the scans. And what do we get? There we go. So we're going to copy everything in the bin directory, which will one day include multiple different binaries for, you know, debug, release, editor, different platforms, Windows, Mac OS. And we're going to put it into our game project. That was Godot for empty. sgphysics2d lib. And we'll bounce over to that terminal. And that looks good. Okay, and then we're going to copy the webrtc.GDExtension from Fabio's project. No, that was in DL, webrtc native, GC, webrtc GDExtension, and of course we'll rename it to sgphysics2d.GDExtension. We're going to probably want to bundle this in the project somewhere. I wonder if we should just structure it so the bin directory becomes this layout. Like, rather than having it go into bin, like go into bin lib and then have the sgphysics2d.GDExtension in that same directory. That's probably a good idea. Let's get that set up after we get this going. Oh, we haven't set up the entry point or registered any of the classes yet. We need to do that. So, okay. sgphysics2d extension init is what we will name it once we get to it. And then here we need to I guess we'll call it debug for now, but it's not actually going to be debug. It's going to be editor. Can we say editor? Will that load? Is that a thing? sgphysics2 to dlib, and let's list what we got going on in lib. It's this. Yep. And we'll want to put like release. This will be, is it template release or release template? Template release. We'll roll with this and then double check which order those go in, which order the words go in. Look in Fabio's project again. Template release, template debug. Yep. Okay. So, I guess while I'm at it, I'm going to copy this GDExtension back to our project. Here. And I'm going to again mess with the build here to get into lib. I think actually that is how that's supposed to look. Let's run scans. When we look in bin, we have a lib directory, and inside the lib directory, we have our actual binary files. We should git ignore those binary files. So .git ignore bin lib. But we don't want to ignore our GDExtension. Let's add it to the Git repo. We probably can remove the .keep file that's there since we don't need it anymore. We have a legitimate file there. Git will like remove any directories that have no files in them. That's why people make those .keep files. Let's add the rest of our stuff in here too. Get it all staged and ready to go. Okay, so we are missing a very important step. We need to actually register the GDExtension, and I do not recall off the top of my head how to do that. So we are going to look at the WebRTC native project, Fabio's project, as a reference. So let's clone it down to, we'll just put it in DL, git clone, open it up in VS Code, which I typed funny, but I think it'll still work. Send you over to this screen. I trust the authors of these files. Okay. We're going to look at this file, this init GDExtension.cpp, which, when you're doing a module, is called like register types or something along those lines. I may call it the same to make things easier, or maybe do this, I don't know, init GDExtension. I did a GDExtension as part of a client project some time ago. I'm going to open up the code for that off screen and just look at what I called the files there. I may have spent some time thinking about it then, so I just don't want to throw away my old thoughts. See source. I called it native library. Native library. Or wait, is this GDExtension or is this GDNative? I did 2 versions of it. Oh, this looks like the Godot 4 version. This was also like a year ago, so things may have changed a little bit. Yeah, we'll go with Fabio's naming. I don't think my naming there was like particularly good or better or anything. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this over because I like having all the VS codes next to each other. Let's go into. All right, so I will want it to be in this Godot 4 folder. And we'll call it init GDExtension CPP. We can start by copying our copyright notice from a different file. And I'm also noticing I have the 2021 to 2022. I should either update that to 2023 or do like Godot did, which I think just says current or present - present, something like that. We can go look actually in Godot 4. Just go like say node CPP. Yeah, - present. That's brilliant. Updating the copyright notices is so dumb. All right, so we have the copyright notice, and then let's take Fabio's code here, which is going to be quite a bit different than. I'm gonna copy and paste from my old code, I think, with some slight renaming going on here. Let me just do some renaming off screen. What? Oh, I typed that backwards. There we go. I have very cleverly search replaced the client name. Not really a client name, but the name that would identify the client. GDNative? Let's say GDNative. GDExtension, Godot CPP. Is this the GDNative one or the GDExtension one? It says GDNative like all over the place. Okay, let's compare this to Fabio's again. We'll put them side by side somehow. Let's here we'll do one of these, and we're going to say we'll test out my I3 skills. We go here and then whoop. What? This is not what I wanted to happen. And then there. Again, this is not what I wanted to happen. Okay. They're next to each other. Mr. Terminator. Yeah, okay, so I don't know if maybe this was a period of time when GDExtension still said like GDNative in it in a bunch of places. So GDExtension class library pointer. GDExtension class library pointer and GDExtension initialization. I don't like how I did this. That's not right. And GDNative bool is not right. GDExtension bool. Yeah, because this does not look like GDNative extensions. Like the way that you register this stuff in GDNative is like super weird, and this has got to be from some halfway point in Godot's development. Hey, Chaosifier! Welcome to the stream. You got looks like the captain's helmet and The shirt actually kind of makes me think of the Bajoran officers' uniforms in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. If anyone ever watched that series. Thanks for coming to the stream. Oh, why am I messing with Fabio's code here? I don't want to mess with Fabio's code. I only want to mess with my code. And let's rename some of this stuff. So we want to call this SG Physics 2D extension init. Extension init. And then up here, we're going to make that same set of changes. SG Physics 2D. SG Physics 2D. Otherwise, though, does this seem okay? Oops. You didn't see that. We're going to register a bunch of classes in there. De-initialize signaling. Oh, it's specific to that. Okay, cool. Here we're going to have to change these two to SG Physics 2D, SG Physics 2D. Physics 2D, extension types. Okay, I think we have the boilerplate. This, I think, was intended to be Godot CPP GDExtension. There's like a GDExtension interface. What do we have up here? GDExtension. Okay, so it's not in Godot CPP. It's just GDExtension interface.h. Class DB, defs, Godot HPP. All right. I think we're ready to start doing this. So the code for this in Godot 3, we can get this one out of here. And it always wants to come back there. The code for this in Godot 3 is in register types. Not the H file, though. We want the CPP file. So let's stash that to the side and make us some room. And we want to switch here. We are going to include pretty much all the same header files, but with the paths changed a little bit. So this would be not .godot 3. We would do delete 2 forward this guy. Nope, I mistyped that somehow. Delete 2 forward this guy. Still not quite right. There. But I kind of want the dot slash. So I delete 1 forward this guy. Okay. Or wait, no, it's still called... No, it's not called Godot. What directory are we in? We are in Godot 4. Okay, so then to get to the internal stuff, we still have to do /internal, I think. And then some of these we chose to remove to work on later. YSort we don't need anymore because that's no longer a thing in Godot 4. Path tween. Okay. So, what is the complaint here? What? What are you talking about? I don't know what this error is about. We'll wait to see what the compiler says. And then we can copy and paste most of this stuff. Probably need to make some modifications to it, but... All right. Register virtual class has some issue. Has no member register virtual class. Okay. Can you not register virtual classes from GDExtension? There is some like reference to virtual classes, but okay, let's look at register class. Register abstract class? Is that what it's called now? Is that what the kids are calling it these days? So register class here. Register abstract class with no arguments. That doesn't make any sense. Or wait, no, the argument is the template argument. Okay, no, that does make sense. And then register class. Register class apparently has a virtual argument. What's the difference between registering virtual and registering abstract? Let's look in the Godot 4 code and see if how this looks there. I thought that virtual class was still a thing on the class DB. Register virtual class. Oh, we now have this define. Are we supposed to be using that? Am I using that in WebXR? Or did someone come through and modify my code for me? Is also always a possibility. No, not here. I want register types in WebXR. Yeah. Okay. We don't do that now. We do it with these macros. Cool. Do we have those macros? GD register. Oops. Register. Yeah. Okay. This is now GD register class, GD register virtual class. I don't know what the difference is between virtual class and abstract class. But if we're thinking about it in C++ terms, what we actually mean here is abstract class. It's purely virtual. So we'll try that one. We'll try that one and see what it gives us. So we need to change all these. Can we do some regex magic or vim magic to do it for us? Probably. Let's start recording a macro, and we will do C forward to this guy, and then it's going to be GD. I've already forgot what the name of these macros is. GD register class, GD register class. And then we are going to go forward to this guy, and we're going to capital C, replace it with this, go down, back, 1, 2, oop, 1. Okay, close the macro. All right, if I did that right, if my vim foo was correct, I should be able to press this and repeat all those steps. Awesome. And then I should be able to press dot, I think. Will that work? Or do I have to do, no, I have to do the macro every time. But that's okay. We can do the macro twice on those two. We want to do the macro 3 times on this one. And how many lines is this? So it looks like 7. Do the macro 7 times on this one. And do it 2 times on this one. I don't know, how would you guys do this sort of thing? Like, I am a long-time Vim user, so this is like my go-to way of dealing with these mass edits. Which hopefully I did this right. I might be mass editing this to something wrong. All right, and then we have the virtual ones left, which is only 2 of them. We can do them by hand. We don't need to mess around with the macro. So this would be GD register abstract class. C forward this guy. GD register abstract class. I added registering virtual and abstract mass. Oh, cool! Thanks, Ricardo. So maybe you can explain exactly what the difference is. Is abstract the right thing here, where I have some purely abstract classes that should never be instantiated? Or should that have been a virtual class? Because I'm not super clear on the distinction, other than like I kind of know what the difference is in C++. And what are you complaining at me here? Oh, is it that we're just not including the engine class? That could be. Our class is engine. And Ricardo would also rock a Vim macro. You know, Vim's like one of those things where like I use it my way, and I'm sure everyone else uses it in their own different way. And I know like maybe 1% of the features in Vim, and I use them like nonstop. I learned enough features to be dangerous with it, and then I just stopped learning things. But I bet there's like a whole bunch of other features that some people use all of the time that are a completely different set of features than the ones that I use all the time. All right, so we need to compile this class. This needs to be included in our S construct. And then, and the singletons. We probably have to deal with those somehow here too. Yeah. Let me hang on. Before I get to compiling, let me copy and paste some more code. We need to delete these. We probably need to remove the singletons first, though, right? Probably have to do engine get singleton remove singleton. Is that even a thing? The add singleton kind of wants to not be a thing either. Actually, there's no member add singleton. All right, we'll have to look up how that's done. It can't be instantiated, then abstract. Yes, awesome. So then when would you declare something virtual? Does that mean something where you use like the GD func whatever methods where you're expecting someone to extend it via GDScript or GDNative? Is that what that's for? Because previously, I'm not sure you even had to call that out. I had thought that it would just pick up on that. Like what's what I'm thinking of, like editor export plugin. I wanted to go to the H file. Take me to your H file. Oh, but not in. I'm not in the Godot 4 source code. Editor export plugin H. So like the GD virtual, this sort of thing. When you have these GD virtual macros, is that when you need to declare it as virtual? We can actually check that by finding the register types for this. I don't know where the register types is for the editor. Is that editor register types? Or editor/register? Editor types? Okay, let's look for editor export plugin. Oh, well, that's abstract anyway. Or no, it's not abstract anyway. It can exist, and so that's not called virtual. When would you call something virtual? Okay, here's one that's virtual. Editor file system import format support query. Not a class I previously knew. So this has some GD virtual stuff, but so does editor export plugin. Why is one declared virtual, registered as virtual, and the other one just registered normal? Well, if you know the answer to that, Ricardo, I'd really love to know. Okay, so we have to figure out how to register singletons from a GD native. How is that done? It's normally done in the engine class, I believe, but let's double check that in the actual Godot 4 source code. It's not core config, is it? I guess it is. Okay, core config. Add singleton. Yep, so we're still adding singleton here. It seems to be done differently. Unless this is a different engine. How many things can be called engine? Class engine. Okay, so we have core bind engine. This, I think, is the engine that I'm thinking of. Yeah. This is the engine that I'm thinking of. At least I think so. Add singleton. Maybe not. Maybe this is not the engine that I'm thinking of. Adding singletons does seem to have changed, though. It's now taking this singleton structure where we give it a name, the object, name, object, and a class name. Interesting. Used for binding generation hinting. Let's find an instance of this. Add singleton. So here's where the core types are registered, and this is how it looks. So project settings, project settings. So how do you add a singleton from GDExtension? And how would we figure that out? I guess what we can do is search Godot CPP for add singleton and see what we get, if anything. We get nothing. Just search for singleton. Bindings generator. Global get singleton, get singleton. Register singleton. All right. That sounds like what we want to do here. And this is not, or this is classes. Register singleton. Okay. Is that it? Is that just a change from add to register? Register singleton. Looks like it. Yeah. Okay. Mystery solved. Let's hop back to, oh, and then unregister singleton. That's the other piece we needed to know for when we're unloading our extension. So let's get back to, where the heck is our code? Oh, it's right here. Okay, so SG fixed. I don't know why it can't find it, but whatever. We need to say, wait. When did this code always look like? Did this code always look like this? I don't remember this being what registering a singleton looks like. It must be, though. I mean, I just copy and pasted that code. Interesting. Okay, so register singleton. After I fix all my typos, register singleton, and for the GD native interface, we can get rid of the this structure. And then down here, we're going to do unregister singleton, SG fixed, and then we can delete it. And then here we can say SG physics 2D server, and then delete it. And I'm not sure why it can't find it. Godot mem delete. No instance of function Godot mem delete matches the argument list. Interesting. Well, we'll see what the compiler says. Otherwise, I think I can close this And we need to tell the sconstruct that we want to compile this particular file, which I think I did in the past by doing this. Does that make sense? We add directory *cpp. Yep. That would, or no, not exactly like that. It needs to be just Godot 4. Let's put it at the end too. Kind of like it at the end. And compile it. I haven't looked much into the meaning. It seems a bit weird. I just use whichever works. Well, yeah, I mean, that's how I do a lot of things as well. Whichever thing ends up working in testing ends up being what I'm using. It would be great to figure out what the deal is, though. I do feel a little bit better about not knowing it, though, that you, Ricardo, also don't know it, know what the meaning is. So I'm not alone in this. Okay, initializer, expected initializer before SGPhysics 2D. Initializer, expected initializer. You know what? Let's go back here. I didn't like the way the extern C thing looked before. But what if we need that to make this line happy with the compiler? No, initializer expected. So what in the heck do you mean? We have a return type. We have a function name. I don't know what GDN export is. The clean, yes, brute force programming style. I wouldn't call it brute force. I would call it lazy force, where you try a thing, it works, so you don't think about it much anymore. Brute force sounds a little bit more active and violent than what I'm imagining. Explicit type is missing. Int assumed. I mean, we're giving an explicit type. We're saying GDExtension bool, which is uint8t. I'm presuming because in C, I think in C, the size of a Boolean value is undefined. So we have defined it to be a uint8. I'm just flabbergasted as to what this error means, though. Initializer expected before. If we look at Fabio's code doing the same, which I guess I closed it. I don't know why I did that. Let's go send this guy over to here, and then we'll reopen WebRTC native. GDE export? Is there a one-letter typo? Am I suffering from a one-letter typo here? Hey! Change an N to an E! That's one of the downsides of copy and paste programming. That you miss little things like that. All right, so did that do everything? I don't know why this still says no instance of template when it clearly is working. Like, what is mem new? It takes a class. It's got to have Godot post initialize, or no, Godot post initialize is called on it. Gets this post initialize handler. Like, that seems fine. This should work with any class. No instance of function template, blah. I don't know. I'm just going to ignore it since the compiler seemed to have no problem with it. Let's stage our changes. And this has that new file in here. think that covers everything new. The rest of this is just debugging junk, fixing different problems that people had, and making little tests for it. Or in some cases, they made the tests for them and sent them to me, and I just dropped them in here. So let's copy the. We'll copy everything in bin over to our game project. It was Godot for empty into the sgphysics2d directory. And then we'll hop back over to our editor. We probably need to restart the editor since reloading GD native stuff always gets weird. Or I'm sorry, GDExtension, because we're doing GD native. Error loading extension. What is the error, my friend? Extension entry point not found. Undefined symbol. Well, we definitely defined it. We definitely extern-c'd it. Did it get compiled? I guess, I mean, it did appear to get compiled. Did it get linked? sgphysics2d extension init. Let's move this over. Roll back here. Oops. sgphysics2d extension init. And what is it looking for in here? sgphysics2d extension init. There's a possibility that something is named weird in the copy and paste stuff. It was renamed, yes. So we're no longer GDN, we're GDE. sgphysics2d extension init. It's C linkage, so the arguments can't be screwing us up, right? It just comes down to the name, extern-c. If it's getting compiled, I guess let's just ensure that it's getting compiled and linked. We will clean up, and then we will recompile real fast. Okay, I see it getting compiled, and I see it getting linked. What is the command to show me all of the symbols in SO? Linux show symbols in SO. NM. Pretty sure this is the one that I usually use. Right, I'm pretty sure I've used objdump before. I don't think I've used readelf. That doesn't seem familiar to me. Let's go into sgphysics. Wait, why do we have a lib here? Oh, because I'm already in the directory. Cool. We'll go into lib. nm. There's probably going to be a ton of symbols, most of them C++ symbols. But we are looking for this sgphysics2d. Oh, it's not there. Okay, well, something we're doing is making the symbol not appear. Extern-c, sgphysics2d extension init. I'm not familiar with this attribute junk. I'm assuming that's GCC magic. I wish I could read elf language. Let's just jump up here. Yeah, so Windows gets the decal spec, the old decal spec. I remember that from when I was doing some Windows 95 development back in the day. And so, okay, so this is GCC Magic. I mean, it appeared to be getting linked. Right here. Hey, Winfrey, welcome to the stream. You are very late to the party, but that's fine. I don't mind, so long as you come to the party. Because yeah, we're ended in like 5 minutes. Let me just go in here and run the same nm command. Just to make sure this isn't like a copy and paste issue that it affects the real deal. Grep SG physics 2D. Hey! Copy and paste problem. All right. Let's do copy, recursive, bin, star, over to PRJ, games, Godot for, no, Godot for empty, SG physics 2D. Now, let's head over, whoa, what happened there? I think Godot crashed. Yes, Godot crashed. It did not like me replacing that SO file while it was still running. Okay, so then here... Yep, okay, so the file now has it. Brilliant. Let's start it up again. We'll do our Godot beta 15 editor. Let's see what we get. Oh, it crashed. Okay. So... Cannot get class SG fixed. Get instance, blah, blah, blah. Cannot get class. So we're doing something wrong with the class DB. Failed to retrieve non-existent singleton object. That's interesting. What are we doing wrong? I do think that we've hit a big enough milestone that we should commit what we've got. And yeah, it looks like nothing's changed since I did it last. Let me just do a git diff staged. Oh yeah, lots of changes to the scans stuff. And yeah, so we'll say added class registration and fixed up artifacts output. I don't know, that's a weird way of saying that, but that's fine. Push that up. And you know what? It would be so cool in the last like 1 minute to debug what the problem is and see it load up in the editor. I don't think we'll pull that off. I think this is probably a good time to start wrapping things up. Thanks everyone for coming to the stream. I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. Next week, I am not sure whether or not I'm going to do a stream. That is when the Global Game Jam is starting. I think like in I think that the site that I'm going to for that is doing like their kickoff in the evening that day, and so I think I may skip the stream in the morning to just like make more time for myself in the evening. But I will try to be back as soon as I can after that. I think we're probably going to be switching away from SG Physics 2D, imagining that I get this all fixed and working off stream. I think we'll probably be switching back to some VR stuff. I want to keep my one prototype per month project going, And I think what I want to do for the prototype next month is do the actual like inventory weapon switching part of my previous idea. So the current prototype is just you have the gun on your arm, but what I want to do is give you like multiple guns and like things that you can store in an inventory somewhere so that you can switch between them. But otherwise take that same prototype and just add that bit to it. So yeah. It was a good stream. We got a lot done. We got the thing actually compiling. I am excited. Godot 4 is coming out so soon. God willing, I will have this ported before Godot 4 releases. Yeah. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.